All right, we should be live. Just waiting for that audio to come through, and then we're going to get started right away here and pick back up where we left off. Here we go, here we go. And welcome to the chat, guys. All right. Let's give this a little refresh here. Drop a comment if you guys can hear me, and then we'll get started right away. Hopefully everybody's doing well today on this fantastic Sunday here. All right, we are good to go. I'm hearing my audio come through, so we're going to go ahead and jump back in. So last time we kind of went through a lot of this modeling for our little circular saw here, and we have quite a few more things to do on here in terms of like details, texturing, things like that. We're gonna probably start by just finishing up a few modeling things. There's I have to kind of design this like this piece, whatever this thing is back here. So that's kind of like one of our final things that I have to do. So I guess I'll just go ahead and start by doing that. Now, from this perspective, it kind of looks like the top of this like lines up with, like roughly with whatever's over here. I can't really see what's right here. I don't have a great angle of this product, like from, well, this particular angle. So I'm probably going to have to borrow some pieces. I'm probably going to have to like guess what's kind of going on back there. But for this part, we should be able to design most of this. This is definitely a complex piece. I'm thinking I can probably design some of it with Booleans. There's a few ideas that I have on like how to go about this, but regardless, I kind of just need to like mock it up and try my best to like create whatever this extrusion is, this piece that kind of comes out of here. So I think what I'm going to start with is just the base. It looks like there's like a very like base level foundation for what that is. I also don't know what this is called either, so I'm just going to call it like side. This might be the angle adjustment bracket. I don't know. I'm just going to call it that. We're going to add a plane in here. Okay, awesome. All right, we'll add a plane in here. We'll move it over here, kind of scale it, go to the top-down view. I think what I'm going to do is just go straight into edit mode, start dragging things around. It looks like it kind of stops about here. All right, and it looks like it kind of wraps up here, maybe about there. I feel like that's like the area where the plate would be. All right. Now I want to give this some thickness as well, so I'll just give this a solidify modifier. All right. Now I do think that it's a little bit thinner than that, so I'll go ahead and drag that down there like that. That looks pretty good. So that's kind of going to be the base plate, and then we got to kind of piece together these different kind of, I guess, options here that we have. So very first thing I'll say is that we'll need this triangular kind of piece here. So we're going to need something that kind of goes out. So it starts here, goes out like this. All right. Although I am seeing that maybe there's a loop cut here. So let's try a loop cut. Okay, and it looks like if I dissolve this vertice, actually I almost want to say it kind of looks like this. Hold on. I'm going to loop cut this way. It's not going to let me, there we go. I want to loop cut this way, and it looks like it goes from here to the center. So if I loop cut here as well, oh, there we go. I think it goes from here to here, like that. I'm just going to see what this would look like if I dissolve this vertice. Yeah, so it looks like it kind of goes like something like along those lines, but it, I want to go back for a second. This part is retained, and actually I think it goes from here to here. Let me just think of how I would go about constructing this. I'd probably add another loop cut right here. I would probably take this edge, bring it down here, like that, and then I would probably take these 2 points, and then I would move them on the Y, like that. And then I have this piece coming back down. There's another loop cut here, I'm going to say. And then we'll just take this piece here and here, move it on the X, kind of like that. Like I feel like I can't really tell what's going on behind the scenes here. So let's go ahead and see if we can get another angle here. Will you make the materials in Blender or Substance Painter? Oh, can I move the reference up a bit? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. Hold on. There you guys go. So what I was going to say is I'm going to go for a different angle. I'm going to build all of the materials out in Blender. it looks like it comes back around to the other side as well. So I'm almost thinking to myself, okay, do I just do a mirror modifier on this guy? I'm tempted to say yes. It's really hard to see from the angle over here. I'm tempted to say that it is going to be mirrored, almost. And at that rate, we bring these up like this. We delete these edges here. Actually, delete edges. There we go. And then we just do a mirror. And we're going to mirror this across the Y. And as for our mirroring center point, we'll just grab an empty real quick. I'll just place it right about there. Perfect. All right, so we're getting something that looks kind of like this. I feel like that's pretty fair. Scale it out just a little bit more. I feel like that's kind of close to like what that actually looks like, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's give this a bevel with make sure that there is no overlap clamping. Also going to go to Object Apply Scale. Got the solidify. Hold on. I want the mirroring to have a little bit of clipping overlap. There we go. Perfect. And then for this, we want the bevel to be like, I don't know, maybe like that amount right there. Something kind of like that. I feel like that looks pretty decent. Perfect. So that's kind of like the base plate of whatever that thing is. And then I say we just build on top of that from that point. God, I wish I had a side profile of this. But I really don't, which sucks. Hopefully that angle is better for you guys. All right, so this piece here. Oh, this is going to be a tough piece. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to chunk it out, if that makes sense, with a plane. So I'm going to chunk it out first, like with just like a subdivided plane, right? So I'm going to tab into edit mode. I am going to, hold on. I'm going to do this my own way, I think. I'm going to do RY90, scale it down. The general shape is it starts kind of like right here, kind of goes off down below. It slides out to the right, so there's like a piece that goes off here, right? But then down here, it kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Like I feel like it starts like this. Starts right about there, and then it moves its way up. Let's do that. Now let's take this piece, extrude it to the Y. Let's extrude this down. And we'll eventually give this like a strong bevel. But I do feel like that's starting to get towards like the shape that we're looking for. And then we just need this to kind of curve upwards. So we need to start like kind of bringing these in, right? This is going to look kind of like that. This piece is going to start to get like rotated and curved right here. This piece is going to get kind of brought in. I also want this to have a subdivision surface so we kind of have that smooth element that we're looking for. There we go. All right, and then what we'll do at the top is now we'll have to bring this side in. And we're going to have to kind of make this like weird, like kind of angled shape, which I need a loop cut here. There we go. We're going to need a loop cut there. This is going to have to come out on the Y. So it's going to have to do SY0. Perfect. And then at the end of the day, this is going to have to come down even more. But we're going to have this really weird thing going on down here. These two, we're going to bring these down below. This will fix with our subdiv, but we're starting to like kind of chunk out the general shape of it, which is good. I'm almost feeling like this is going to have a loop cut here. And then we're going to take this, bring it out a little bit right there. Kind of has a shape that looks like that. Take a like for the hype. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, we'll definitely always take a like for the hype. Thank you. So this right here, we want to kind of bring this up. Yep, that's better. Perfect. All right. I feel like that's like the general shape. And then I'll probably just solidify that like this. Give it some thickness there. And then I might do, excuse me, I might do a mirror modifier actually. And I'm going to mirror it on the X. That's fine. Now for the thickness, we have to do a little offset. Hold on. There we go. I want there to be a parting line in the middle because there is on this one. So just going to give it the ever so slight parting line there. Cool. And then I might give this a, let's give this a bevel. Let's do no clamp overlap. Something like that might work. Although, come to think of it, this gets projected out. Hold on, I'm trying to think this through. This gets projected out. Really, we would probably want to do this slightly differently. So let me turn off the mirror modifier. Really what we would do is we would take this like outer edge, this outer edge, if you will, and we would extrude it like upwards. So hold on, let me do this. Do this side here, and we'll let me just show you what I mean. We would take this and we would extrude it upwards a little bit to get that like inner kind of curve part. So I think we'll do that, but just for this side here, because when it starts to curve in like right here, this part I believe we could like kind of extrude it and take it and move it like upwards like that. Just gotta be careful on the inside here because we're gonna create some weird areas. Like we gotta be really careful on the inside part there. Get some weird geometry. So everybody see kind of what I did there. I feel like that'll look good. Let's see what happens when we turn the mirroring back on. But we want it to be on the opposite side. Kind of like that. Not sure how it got so weird down here. Okay. It's like kind of close to what I'm trying to get here. I'm not too displeased with it. It's a little bit shaky there. I don't know what key I just pressed, but it worked pretty well. Whatever it was that I did. Oh crap. There we go. I'm gonna reset it a little bit. Okay. I'm going to keep it at that for now. Cool stuff. Thank you. All right, so what I want to do is I will end up fixing this curve in just a minute here because I'm not like entirely happy with it. The ultimate goal is to get this to be like similar to that curve that we're seeing on the right. It's really hard to see through this though. Should be one more cut here. That's much better. Okay, so now we kind of have the curve that we're looking for. I think I'm just going to start cutting things out of this. This is going to be an interesting one because there's also these like side profile shapes that are holding it up, like these extrusions. I think I might have to do like maybe a weld modifier or some kind of rough like Boolean shape. Overall though, I'm happy like with kind of how it looks so far. It's not perfect. So let's try to do the cutout shape now. So for this one, I'll probably take a plane. I will rotate it, scale it down, go to my side view here, and then what I think I'll do is I'll probably just tab into edit mode, SY, Control R to give a bunch of loop cuts here. I will go here and I'll do a simple deform. I'll go ahead and kind of get this like rough shape of like what this is going to look like. I feel like it's going to be kind of like that, like roughly. Like kind of following the profile, kind of not. Like it's following it a little bit. I feel like it's kind of going to be like that, more or less. That looks about right. And then what I'll do is I will add a solidify modifier with the thickness that goes all the way through this thing. And I'll probably just use this to cut that out. But I want to duplicate this shape because I think we could probably make the outline with that as well. So let's try the Boolean first. All right, Boolean, what is this? We'll do float. Okay, and then let's change it to manifold. That's fine. All right, now for this, I want to see if we can make kind of like that outline part right there, which I think we might be able to do. The way we might be able to do that is by giving this a wireframe, getting rid of the solidify, giving it a wireframe. Hold on. Actually, you know what? We might be able to get rid of all those loop cuts. Let's do this. Let's get rid of the wireframe. Let me think about this for a minute. I wonder if I can convert this to a mesh and then delete and dissolve just the centers. Or actually, can I just get this, 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 and this? Actually, I don't even really need that, but I'll do separate, separate, selection. All right, and now my selection is, where is it? This is it right here. Let's see if I can solidify this. It can, sort of, but it doesn't want to work. Why? Oh, it doesn't want to do it for me. We'll do wireframe. There we go. So we got our wireframe, right? And then we'll do a solidify after that. So let's go ahead and do a solidify. Let's see if this works. I want to solidify it with even thickness. Only the rim. Did that work? I can't tell if that did anything. Let me convert this to a mesh. And then I'll extrude it on the X. There we go. That works too. Alright, that's fine. Alright, and I feel like that looks pretty decent, except for it's not quite the right width. So we're going to go back to where it was a wireframe. And we're going to increase the thickness. I feel like that's better. Convert to a mesh. Tab into edit mode. EX to extrude. Tab back. Maybe, let's see if we can add a bevel to this. Honestly, it doesn't look terrible for what I thought it was going to look like. Edge, bridge, edge loops. There we go. Alright, I feel like that's a little bit better than what we had. It's definitely not perfect. The only thing I would say is if I tab into edit mode, keep my proportional editing on. Maybe I just fix the curve a little bit here. Alright, I feel like that looks okay. Now I'll probably add a mirror modifier to that. And I'll do it on the X across this shape here. Alright, that looks not bad. Not terrible. Not necessarily going for like perfect here. I mean, I am and I'm not. Like, I mean, I do feel like we did a lot of like crazy stuff on this already. And I'm pretty happy with it. This, like looking back, like if I had a side profile, we could get all these proportions almost perfect, but unfortunately I don't have that. All right, now let's do like this part here, these like little pillar type type of things, because I feel like those, ironically, can also be made of a plane. All right. Now for these guys here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this right about here, drag it to where I think it starts, which is about there. Scale it down. Probably starts there and it works its way up. I think how I might approach this is I'm going to flip this, bring it down. I'm just going to extrude it from this point. And then I'm going to SX, kind of push it up against this. And then I'll probably end up like combining it with everything else. Yeah, it'll probably be something like that. And this one kind of goes like a little bit further into it. And then it looks like these faces out here, or these edges, come all the way out to the edge, more or less. So that's kind of like basically what it would look like. And then we'd have to try to combine it with this. I almost would say we would combine it with this and then like remesh the whole thing, but I feel like it would kind of mess things up. So I might just keep these here for now as like a placeholder. I'm going to assume they're mirrored across the other side. I'm just going to assume that naturally. There's a lot of ways. I've seen a lot of ways for how you can combine it. Someone said, how do you even learn how to do this? This is a good stopping point, just real quick, to tell you about CG Cookie Core. This is how you would learn to do this. This guy right here, Jonathan Lampel and Kent, they're both fantastic modelers, and they're both part of our core fundamentals of Blender. This is one of our major products that we offer, and I couldn't tell you how amazing this course really is. Now, I do teach physics here. So this is my section here. I teach physics, but if you really want to learn about modeling and lighting, digital sculpting, pretty much everything you would need to know to do what I'm doing right now, these are all of your core learning outcomes, right? Mesh modeling, digital sculpting, lighting, materials, which we'll be doing all that today, animation, rigging, physics, compositing. I mean, there's so much to learn here. And if you look at Jonathan's course real quick, this is by far one of the best ways to get involved. So let me go ahead and copy that into our chat. Would you like to move the camera to the top right to make it a little bit bigger? Oh, yeah. Oh, so you guys can see me? Yeah, I can do that for you. There you go. So yeah, that would be my shout out right there. So yeah, so we're doing pretty good with this. Let's continue because I don't want to like spend too much time on this. I want to get to like the materials and stuff like that because that's the actual fun part. Let's do this like weird black thing here because we kind of already have one of those designed, which is right here. And I think we might just be able to reuse this. We also might be able to reuse this bolt here. I'm just looking to see. This is an intense one. This one has like different parts on it. Let me just see real quick. We're going to have to fix some of the geometry here. I know there's some screws out in the loose here. All right, let's do... I guess we could just do this one and then reformat it. Nah, we don't need to. We'll just make our own from scratch. It's fine. All right, so I need a plane. Bring it over here, tab. All right, now for this one, we'll do this black piece first. We're kind of going to be guesstimating about how big that starts out as. I'm going to say like roughly this shape. I'm going to give it a subdiv modifier so that we can kind of, well, make it basically a circle to start out with. And then what we'll do is, it looks like it kind of just extends to the right if we take this edge and just extrude it to the right, right? And then you basically would just kind of take this bottom part, kind of move it up, right? Kind of get something like, sort of like that. And then I'm going to take this, which is a loop cut, I'm going to kind of bring that out to our edge here. I'm going to do one more loop cut so that we can kind of start the top of this here. And then in order to start the top of this, we'll just grab these two edges. And we're going to extrude this out, and we're going to extrude it out across the X. like that. And then I'm going to take this loop, if it's going to let me. It's not a loop, I guess, but whatever. All right, I'll take this edge, and I'll take this edge, and I will just go GG, and then I'll align these two here. GX, sorry, Y. And if I wanted to align them perfectly, I take both of these, I press SY0, and then I am going to need a loop cut in two spots. One is going to have to be right here, one is going to have to be right here. Just kind of give that shelf more of like some definition. And then I'll probably need one right here. Although this has a little bit of curvature to it, but that looks good. So it's going to look something kind of like that. And then I'll probably just do a solidify afterwards. Not terrible. There's a couple more things I would probably do though. I would probably add a slight bevel to the edges of these because it's a little bit more curved. But I just want to see what this is going to look like. That's kind of close to what it is. I do feel like this bottom section comes up a little bit more. Like, maybe like that more. It's really hard to see like what this actually looks like. I'm just going to assume it's kind of more like, maybe more like that. I feel like that's pretty close to what it actually looks like. Like it's pretty close. Close enough. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to call it on that. The only other thing, like I said, I would do is just look at these edges for the bevel. Let me just see if I can manually add it. Bevel, vertices. That works. All right, I'll take that. Perfect. Oh, and then these fins right here at the top. In order to get those fins, here, let's do a reverse. Actually, no, we'll keep that. We'll do a, we're going to need a plane. It's funny how much you can do with the plane. Like, it's actually quite insane. So we're going to do a plane, and we're going to do a solidify on this plane so that it has some thickness to it. We'll just go to our top-down view here. We will tab into edit mode, scale it on the Y, kind of scale this up, and we're just going to make these like fin pieces. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 of them. So I'll just go tab out of edit mode. I'll add an array. I'll do that on the Y. I need 6 of them. And then I just need to space them out. Go back to the edit mode. They are a little bit longer than that, so I'll space them out more. Try to keep them even, and then all I need to do is press them into this surface using a Boolean. So I'll go back to my other shape. I'll add a Boolean modifier. I'll select these as the difference object, and then I realized I just added that to the incorrect thing, so we're going to come back. I accidentally added the Boolean to the wrong object. That's okay. We'll add the Boolean. We'll select these. We'll hide it. And there's our grooves that we needed in the top. And then you will notice there is like a slight bevel to the one side. So you know what? I will take this. I'll go right back here. I'll take this edge here. I'll give it a little bevel. Sorry, I'll take the corners, bevel them. Vertices. We'll go ahead and do no overlap on that. Perfect. And hide. And we're good to go. And just that little detail can make a big difference. All right, that looks good. All right, now we need this nut and then the thing that's in the middle of the nut. All right, let's see. Got about an hour left of streaming here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's add the bolt. So we'll go to add, mesh. We'll go to extras. We'll go to, oh no, where's my bolt factory? Do I not have it installed? Bolt factory, there it is. Go ahead and enable that. I'll go ahead and add in our bolt. So to add a bolt, you go to add, then you go to mesh, and then you go to bolt. And then you just need to like define some of the parameters. I only need the head of it. I don't need the actual length of this. So thread length needs to be 0. Or I guess, let's see. Well, we can delete that anyway. Let me just see. I kind of need a basic shape like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. This is honestly all I need is the top of this. So we're good. We'll tab into edit mode. We'll go to our focus mode here. We'll go to our side view and we'll just delete everything that we don't need, which is all this stuff. We'll delete these vertices. And that's really all we need right there. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll place it where we need it, which is over here on the x-axis. We'll rotate it, okay. We'll just do RY 90. We'll scale it down. We'll go ahead and place it where it belongs. We'll also rotate it because it should be slightly rotated like that. Alright, we'll bring it into place. Shade it smooth. Scale it down a little bit more. And then we just need some kind of ring on the top of that. So we'll probably need to do, I can probably just take all these faces, duplicate them, scale them down, scale it out a little bit, maybe give this some thickness. Alright, and then probably what I'll do, oopsies, oh, I still have that selected, it's okay, I don't want that selected. There we go. Something like that. Scale that in a little bit. And then we'll inset that. Actually, that looks about right. Dissolve faces. How did this guy get on here? Wait, what the heck is that? Is that an edge? What is that? What happened here? What in the world happened here? Did I extrude something in a weird way? Did I extrude this vertice? There we go. Did I fix it? Kind of. Something weird going on with these shadows. But anyway, all right, so now I got to select this, move it on here. I feel like that looks pretty good. I like, for the most part. Maybe like there's a slightly larger inset there, but did I start off modeling in Fusion 360 and that's why most models with planes? Believe it or not, no, I didn't. I always used Blender. I never have used, well, I have used Fusion 360, but I haven't really gotten into it so much that I would learn how to model in it. I think I did something for 3D printing in that, and that was really it. Yeah, there's a lot more for me to learn. Like, obviously, I'm not an expert, but I do enjoy doing this. I'm kind of eager to get to the, I'm really eager to get to the shading part of this. There is still a part of this that I didn't do yet. There's also this bolt needs to be down here. Needs to be a bolt. There we go. We need to place this bolt right about there. Okay. And then what else do we have? God, there's so many complexities to this friggin' model. It's insane. Did I? Oh, I guess, you know what I just realized? This whole thing right here is not even tall enough. So, like, hold on. This might be embarrassing, but we're going to have to, like, might have to do a little one of these doohickeys here. And then we're going to have to do a little one of these numbers here. Oh, good Lord. All right, I just completely destroyed all that. Hold on. We need to go back. We need to go back. I didn't realize how off I was until I just finished that. So now I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. This is not good. Also, we do have the mirror modifier, which is great. But now everything, I almost tempted to say, can this and this be like joined together? But they can't because they have modifiers on them. So hold on a second. I cannot believe how off I was that whole time. I didn't even notice. This is good though because I wanted to catch this early. I was really eyeballing it, and I don't know why I didn't even realize this whole time that this should have been like way higher. That's crazy how much higher it should have been. And that's okay. And everything at the bottom, we need to snap. Like all these things down here, all these edges, we need to snap those to the Z. Not proportionally. There we go. Much better. Okay, perfect. And then we need to come back in here with this. We also need to figure out where is our Boolean object. It's plane 23. Plane 23 is also going to have to be, well, we're going to have to just convert it to a mesh, which I guess it might as well already have been a mesh. We'll go ahead and go into our X-ray mode. We'll select some of this stuff. I want to select it semi-evenly. Turn on our proportional editing. Maybe do a little something like that. Let's see how that looks. Better, better. And then we just got to move this stuff a little bit. And then this guy also has to move. And we can adjust him. Let's see, maybe something like that. Perfect. Well, more or less perfect. It's better. It's better. Better than it was before, at least. Lines up a little bit better. Should be a little bit closer, so I think I'm going to take all of these things. And then I got to take plane 23, move that through. All right, let's just pretend like that perfectly lines up. Oof. Oof. God. Oh my God, that's awful. What was I thinking? All right, that's a little bit better. Tell you what, this is a tough model. This is definitely one of those, yeah, you like the mishap moments, lots to learn. This is me while modeling 90% of the time. Yeah, and this is one of those things where it's like, I know I'm not an expert, and I'm okay with that. But like looking back, there's so many things I would have probably done differently with this. And now I'm also realizing I got to take these guys, and I got to take these faces, bring them up. All right. All right. What's next? I'm pretty happy with, like, I kind of just want to start, I'm to be honest with you guys, I kind of want to just start texturing and coloring things because I'm just curious what it's going to, like, actually look like. Now, you're probably wondering, how do we get that logo on there? I don't know that I'm allowed to put the logo on there because of, like, copyright purposes. So why don't we just go into render view, start slapping on some textures and things, and then we'll, like, refine from there, okay? I'm pretty happy with our progress, though. I really am. I mean that. Let me add a plane in here. Let's like put this thing on a surface, you know, kind of give it some lighting. Let's do an area light. My God, there's light. Let there be light. This is our subject. Let's go ahead and snap to our camera. Let's see what our camera view even looks like. All right, let's do 1920 by 1080. We don't need this for now. Let me really scale this out, and let me create a little studio for us. All that good stuff. You know. You already know. If you know, you know. Let me go ahead and point our camera in a desirable angle here. All right. So pop to our camera. I want a 100mm lens. I want to really back us up in the scene here. I want to like bring us like kind of like slightly overhead, but nothing too crazy. Go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and grab our background plane, give it just like a really darker color. Kind of come in here, maybe give ourselves a little HDRI action here. And then we'll start dropping in our colors. All right, starting to look like something now. Look like something here. All right, let's do this thing now. All right, so now let's go ahead and start doing some coloring. All right, very first thing, I think let's establish that that bright yellow. So this is gonna be an interesting one because some of this stuff, we'll go into material preview for this. Some of this stuff is just gonna have the yellow, and there's gonna be like really specific things that are gonna have not the yellow. So let's just start with this. Let's make it a kind of a yellow, almost like a mustardy color. And this is gonna be not a super high gloss plastic, so it's gonna have some roughness to it. So let's just go ahead and do that. And then there's going to be a lot of details that we didn't capture on this other part here. So here's what I'm going to do. Shift, click, click. I'm just going to link the materials for now. For this base plate thing, this is going to be like a metallic kind of material. So I'm just going to give this a metallic. And we're going to kind of just start like piecing things together like as we go. It's going to be a pretty low roughness, like 0.3 maybe, something like that. And then I can shift click to start adding in our, let's see, our materials here. This is a little too dark, so I'll probably raise the tint a little bit. And I'll kind of start like piecing things together. All right, cool. All right, so now we need a metallic on this as well. This is gonna be our top guard. And this is gonna have, you know, a little bit of roughness to it, but nothing too crazy. And it's also gonna have just an ever slow grayish like tint. Go ahead and raise that roughness up there real quick. Maybe raise this a little bit here as well. Perfect. And then for our bottom, this is actually plastic, so I'm just going to go with like a simple, I'm going to go with a diffuse BSDF. I'm going to do gray, like a darker kind of gray. High roughness, and we'll come back to that later. This is starting to look really good. It's starting to kind of come together. This piece here and this piece will be a plastic as well, so we'll do diffuse. We'll do black, so it's got a black color to it. And then these two pieces here will also be black. All right. Now our saw blades will also be that same type of color, but I think I'm going to give them a completely separate one. It is going to be metallic, just ever so slightly. It's of course going to be darker with a lower roughness, slightly higher roughness. And then the middle, we're going to give it that yellow. That's going to have that yellow shade here, and let's see, what do we have? Our bolt, that can also be that same color plastic. And I do want to lower the roughness of that quite a bit. Yeah, there we go. All right, and then this will also be the same as This one's gonna be its own as well. They're just all such slightly different types of metallic. There we go. All right, starting to come together. Now we need that black plastic as well. So the black plastic we'll do right here. I believe that's this one here. Now for this piece, so all these pieces over here are all supposed to be that like metallic from the bottom. So we'll make them metallic. All of the bolts should also be, well, that black color as this middle bolt here. So I'll shift click that. Boom. This part here is going to be tough because we'll come back to that. I'm going to copy the materials over here. Let's see. Oh yeah, these are supposed to be this color. This is supposed to be its own metallic, but I'll copy that from this. This is supposed to be a black plastic, and so is that. So I'll copy that from that. This piece right here is the same as the bottom guard. Okay, let's see what else we got. This is supposed to be the same color as that. These are supposed to be the same color as the bottom plate. Also, bottom plate definitely needs to be lower roughness. And then for this background, I may make this background like slightly brighter. We'll come back to that. All right, and then what else are we missing here? It's starting to look kind of cool though. Like at least like we have some coloration going on with it. Christmas edition saw. Oh, that's funny. We could. I mean, there's nothing. Nobody's stopping us, you know. All right, the trigger and the switch should be that color. Now all the bolts. Where's the bolts at? If we go here and we click select objects, we can select every single bolt, and then we can match it to this bolt color. And now they should all have the same color. We did miss like slight part of this for the modeling, but we'll come back to that. I was really eager to just kind of get some materials on here and kind of see what this would look like. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and bring our camera up. It's looking cool so far. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a shame because I didn't really do much with the modeling on the handle, but overall, like, I don't know. I'm pretty pleased with it. Like, it looks pretty similar to, like, what I'm seeing on the left. There's a lot of details in, like, the actual logo and the things that are on the saw blade. I don't want to get any copyright strikes or anything like that. We can go ahead and add our own, like, logo on here. We just, like, type out Blender or something like that. Let me just go in here. Give this a little bit of a higher gloss. There we go. This will be like a slightly higher roughness. This would really be like a slightly darker gray. Not like too dark. It's almost like a gray, like almost like a gray blue. It's kind of hard to like put it. Saturation's lower though. Yeah, it does. It does look awesome. Again, it's not perfect, right? Like, there's a lot more stuff that we didn't do yet. Like, obviously, I missed these three pieces here. These should all be same color as that. Did I miss anything else? Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, yeah, I forgot. This guy here, we're going to have to make this part is going to be a separate part. So we're going to give that where is it? The black color, we're going to assign it to that. And then this part, we're going to make a new material slot. And we're going to make this the metallic and assign it to that. So now this will have two different pieces on it that have two different colors. Oh, and then I forgot this part here, which is part of this. And then you know what? Let's change up the HDRI a little bit. Let's do, instead of this guy, let's do like, how about this guy? No, I don't like that. That's a little bit better. All right, much better, much better. And that's pretty much it for our coloring. Let's see, how much time do we have? We have 37 minutes left, which is great. So we got our coloring. It's not perfect, but at least we actually like made something that we're proud of. And now we could like kind of look at this around and just see how we did. So one of the things I like to do is I'll add an empty. So I'll go up here to add empty sphere, kind of scale that up a little bit. And I'll actually parent my camera to the sphere. So now if I rotate my sphere, you can see it drags the camera along with it. So now what I can do is if I'm just in rendered mode like this, I can now just go over the Z axis and I can change my angle of wherever I want to look at this, which is really totally awesome. How cool is that? I love it. Me personally. I think it looks really cool. I'm pretty happy with it. Another thing I always love to do, there's really no need to do this, but we can enable depth of field and do a ridiculous depth of field on this thing. I always thought it looked cool. All you have to do is adjust this focus distance, of course. And if you really want to dumb it down, stupid dumb, you can do that. But I don't know, just kind of a cool thing. And then of course, where is my empty at? Where is my empty? I think it's in here. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. So this should actually be in the top collection here. There we go. And now we can change our perspective. I don't know why, but I love the depth of field look. I just think it looks cool. So yeah, that is really it for our model. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm probably not going to spend too much more time on it just because there's so many little details up there. There was some other cool stuff that we had on our list of what we could model for you guys. So let me just go ahead and go over to that real quick because I want to show you guys the other things that were voted for in the order they were voted for. Check this out. All right, so if I go to CG Cookie's channel, we'll go to our posts. Yeah, so this is what you guys voted for. So we had 21% for the vintage microphone, 56% for the circular saw, 4% for branded bottles, and then 18% for gyroscope. So there was a lot of interesting ones on there that we could have created. I think maybe we'll do the vintage microphone next time because that one was really cool. But ultimately, what do you guys think so far? I feel like this was a fun modeling challenge. Did we get it as perfect as we could? Probably not. In fact, let me hide that bolt. We didn't even finish that part right there. I don't know, guys. I'm pretty happy with it. I am pretty happy with this model. Look at this. There's a lot of work went into this. I mean, it's not perfect. By no means is it perfect. And there's a lot more we could have done. The hardest part about this project was probably finding the reference images that I could actually work with. In this case, I only found 2 or 3 that are actually good to use, right? The hardest thing was this handle by far, right? This part right here, okay? That part right there, I mean, it doesn't really look that great. And that's because it was one of the most difficult parts. Things that were really easy, this curve, right? This metal rod thing was pretty easy. The saw blade, pretty easy. Anything circular, I know we always talk about the circular objects. They're usually going to be the easiest. Something I plan on improving on in the future is my modeling skills. I think I have great modeling skills and a good awareness of 3-dimensional space and how to think about modeling things. But once I have more tools under my belt, there's so much more that I'll be able to do and share with you guys as well. So just be on the lookout for that. Learning never stops. Oh, look, I missed 2 pieces up here. These should be this color. And also, I'm going to click on that because I want to see, this really should be a metallic. Yeah, it should be a metallic. It should be a darker metallic. There we go, much better. And even just that, huge improvement, right? And then, this guy probably needs to come out a little bit, right? There's a lot. And I also mixed it up a little bit because we had a few reference photos that were not of the same thing. I thought it was the same product. It was not. So we live and we learn, right? But I still absolutely loved making this. This was a lot of fun, honestly. What did you guys think? For more references, if you can't find online, yes. And that's the other thing. You can go and see the product in real life, take pictures of it. That's something that you can do, absolutely. All right, do we have any last-minute requests before we hop offline here? I have about 30 minutes left. I can mock up something real quick. We can talk about really anything. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat below. Otherwise, we're probably going to wrap up the live stream. Again, I'm kind of glad we got to at least have a part 2 to this to kind of get something together. It's not perfect, and we could work on the materials more, but yeah, I don't know. I was pretty happy with that. Let's make a you know what I really want to make real quick for you guys and like with you guys? I want to make a stainless steel texture, like a brushed stainless steel texture. Let me show you what I mean. Let's do a bevel on this. Let's do an edge split subdiv. So the reason we do all those things is because if we don't have the edge split, let me just show you. If you don't have the edge split and you do a subdiv, this is what it looks like. So splitting those edges will give us like a better result ultimately. All right, so we are going to turn this into a really nice piece of like stainless steel. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's drop it in HDRI. All right, we'll go to our rendered view. Oops. We'll do this. We'll go into shading. We'll add in a camera. Snap to the camera. Zoom in on our whatever this is. Perfect. Depth of field. We'll select our object. Plane. Scale it up. Bring it down below. Blah blah blah. Give it, I don't know, like a really rough material or a darker material like that. Go to our camera. Get rid of this. Focus in on our object. We'll give it a new metallic shader. Okay, and already we're looking good. For the roughness, we'll set it low. But remember, with the roughness, let me show you how to make this material. You said you would do two things different. What was the biggest? The biggest thing I would do different is get better reference photos, and the other thing I would do is like take my time more on that handle, probably. Taking my time isn't something I'm very good at. It's something I'm getting better at, though. All right, so here's where we can really go. This is going to get kind of crazy because what I think we'll do is we'll actually hide this. We'll go into our settings here in our film settings, and we'll turn this to transparent background. And then I'm going to start with just like a noise texture, and I want to show you guys kind of what we can accomplish here. If we plug this into the roughness with a color ramp, we can kind of go in here, thin this out a little bit, and we can have some areas, show you, some areas that are rough, some areas that are not so rough. All right, just like that. Now, what's really cool about this, though, turn off my depth of field. What's really cool about this is we can squeeze these things together. So we can come in here to this, mapping, texture coordinate, plug in the generated, and then we just basically squeeze this on the Z to kind of give us that like stainless steel kind of like textured look, right? And this is the fun part. We'll turn down the roughness. We'll make these really small so we kind of get that like, we may even do 0.3 and 0.3. Yeah, something like that. And then what we'll do is we'll change the base color. Probably need it to be higher. The edge tint, it doesn't really matter as much on this one. Now the anisotropy or anisotropy, I don't even know how to say it. That will turn up. Now we'll come in here and do that. Scale, let's do like, I don't know, 50 maybe. Oopsies. We'll try 50. Perfect. And then this is where you can kind of adjust like the actual like, I don't know, texture of it. But then we want to also adjust the bump. So let's go ahead and plug this into the bump. We'll plug this into the height, plug the normal into the normal. Let's go and look really, really close. And then to know that we're doing this right, we'll do like, I don't know, 3 on here. And we'll see, is this affecting the bump? It should be. Yeah, very subtly. And to lower the strength, we can do like 0.3. And this is where we can come back in here and we can do like, I don't know, 40. Right? Or let's do 30. Let's try 10. See what it looks like. 10 doesn't look terrible. This is where you can come back in here again and you can kind of like refine this more, right? Yep, and then for the top, in order to give it that like kind of spun look, we're gonna do that next. We're gonna go ahead and tab into edit mode. I'm gonna call this side view. Oopsies. There we go. All right, side view, and then I'll assign the top face. I want this to have a different material. So I'm actually going to add a new material slot. I am going to choose side view. What I'm going to duplicate it and call it side view 1. Click on assign, and to know that we did it right, we'll change the base color, and we did it right. We only assigned it to the top. Now, I'm just going to keep it blue for a second because I want to adjust the way that this is curving around. In fact, it's not curving around because we need the noise texture plugged into a gradient texture, I believe. And the type we want is radial. Okay. And then we'll come in here, we'll do 1, 1, 1. Keep it simple. We'll do the UV, sorry, generated, keep it on that. And now let me just do this real quick. All right, so, oopsies, there we go. Color, or, oh, there it is, okay. So now we can actually see something, which is good. So now what we need to do is we're gonna need to like rotate this until it looks, well, correct. Haha, that's so cool. All right, let's rotate the Z. That won't do it. You just try something. Should just be working at this point. It's weird. Why is it being so weird right now? I literally just did this the other day. What was the order? Oh my gosh, it was it? Oh, you know what? No, it was wave texture. I'm sorry. The top was a, I believe it was a wave texture. No, hold on. I'm almost positive it was a wave texture. Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is what I did. And then we went to rings on the Z. There it is. And then we scaled it up a bunch. And now this is the fun part because now you can adjust like the height and the strength of the displacement here. And then obviously you're going to want to crunch these close. Well, however much you want them. And then you can sit here and adjust this part too. Now you can get that kind of like anisotropic look. You want that anisotropic all the way up so you get that kind of like spiralized look. And then this is going to be like the difference and the distance between each individual band. And then again, the higher the bump, the better. Now for the rim of this, I actually want to go back in here and I just realized like because we didn't apply our bevel, so we're going to have to convert this to a mesh. And then we're going to have to go in here and only select these things for our top. We'll assign them here. We'll go to our side view. We'll take just the middle. We'll assign this. So now it should look like this. And then for the middle, where the bevel is, we need to very carefully select only those. And there they are. And we're going to make a new material, assign that, and that'll be our new material, which will be a metallic, which didn't work, but here we go, metallic, there we go, with a low roughness of 0.1, and then anisotropy all the way up, and that's our bevel. And then if you want to, you can raise the roughness just a little bit, and then for the middle up here, for our side view, which really isn't the side view, it's the top view, we can come here and we can scale it up to 150 if we want to. Now you get that really, really stylized look. And then, of course, you can adjust this more as well. And I actually think I might change this back to side view 001. Let me just see. Why is it looking so strange on the side? You know what? I'll change this back to side view, regular side view. There we go. I feel like that looks better. And then what we can do is we can come back in here, adjust our depth of field, and then we can go to side view 001, and we can mess around with the scale. Like if we think the scale is too much or too little, if we think it's too rough or not rough enough. Let's see. It's not terrible. Let's see how this is looking. It's not bad. It's not quite what I'm exactly looking for, but I am kind of starting to like this like vibe. Let's go ahead and click on our depth of field. Let's zoom in a bunch. It's looking really interesting. Let's disable our depth of field. I'm not in love with the side. Not in love with it. It's almost like, is it too rough? Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think it was too rough. And now let's do this. That's a too intense variation. 10, let's do 40. There we go. Now we're talking. And then for our HDRI, we can, of course, change that up. It's crazy how much the HDRI will completely change the look of the thing that you're working on. Why is this two separate things? That's really weird. Why in the world? That's a new one. That's fine. I don't care. It's just weird. All right, let's get rid of this HDRI. Let's do a different one. Let's try this guy right here. Although I didn't mind that one either. I'm curious what this one looks like. Too shiny. That's not a bad one. So what I love about putting this thing on like a surface is now we can take this surface, make it like kind of like shiny like that, right? And then we can go in here and we can be like, you know what, I want a little brick texture on this guy, right? And I want to do black, and I want to do a slight border right there. I'll do 1 to 1, no offset, scale that up like crazy. And then we can also give this thing a bump as well, which can go right in there. And we can go in here and we can check and see how that looks. You can kind of see it happening a little bit. Mortar smooth, you want that at like 0.7. And then you kind of start to get that tile look and feel if that's what you're going for, which in this case I might even do 0.4. A little bit more subtle. And if we really want to, we can bring up the color of these just a little bit. So now we have some variation, which looks cool, but if you don't want that, you can, of course, copy, paste. Copy, paste, and then this one should be something like that. Maybe something really, really light. Nothing too crazy. And then if you want, you can lower that roughness even more. You can go in here, you can do this HDRI. It really doesn't matter. It's totally up to you how you want to make this look. I think it's looking really snazzy. Maybe a little bit too intense on the top for the... Maybe is it too intense for the actual displacement on the top? I almost wonder, it doesn't even really look like displacement, so let me just check here. Is this the one? That's better. Hold on. That's better. Much better, I feel like. What do you guys think? I feel like that looks pretty darn good. Like I think that looks like a piece of stainless steel. Or maybe like that brushed metal kind of look. Thoughts, guys? Thoughts? Honest thoughts? I feel like it looks pretty good. Tempted to say there's even a little more I could do, but I'm not really sure what that is at this time. And then I kind of want to go here. Of course, I want to, enable my depth of field. And I'm almost tempted to say if I went in here and I did a isometric view, would that even look good at all? What do you guys think? How does that look? I feel like it looks pretty cool. Looks too stylized for you? Okay, so maybe we could dumb it down a little bit. Whoa. Why can't there be a freaking in-between with this depth of field? It's crazy. There's no, like... How close am I, by the way? Oh, wow. I'm gonna really zoom in on this thing. Hold on, I'm gonna use like I'm gonna use a lens that would never exist. It's a 974. Hold on, I'm sorry. It is a 1.32 meter lens with a 0.2 depth of field. That's crazy. Focus distance. Why is this not working? Focus object. Boom. F-stop 3. Oh my gosh. Oh, you said the top looks too stylized. Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess it does, yeah. Can see heaven with that lens. I know, that lens is... You would never, ever see this lens, obviously. Does that look cooler? Like, is that a cooler vibe? Like, this thing kind of, like, off to the side like that? I feel like it kind of is. I kind of want to do this. I kind of want to get this, like, area light going on here with, like, I don't know, 50 power and a really, really slim down, like, let's see. Let's move it back on the Y. See where our brick texture is lying here. I don't know what I'm trying to do right now, but I'm enjoying myself, so I'm gonna keep on going. I think I like making things look like a showcase, like it's some kind of thing that we're trying to like set up. Yep, it's kind of what I was going for there. That looks cool. It's a vibe. I like it. I mean, it works for this specifically, I think. The top is pretty stylized. Okay, let's dumb it down just a teeny weeny weeny bit. There we go. How's that? A little more subtle. A little more subtle. Now I got myself thinking, oh, you know what? Do I need a subdiv on this now too? Did that even do anything? I don't know that it did. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. I kind of want to duplicate it and like rotate it. I just want to see like what would it look like up here, like. Just curious, just out of curiosity here. Insane. You know what's insane is why can't I like, why is Blender thinking that this thing is so far away? It's like not letting me focus. Oh wait, here we go. There's a very, 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 very sweet spot for it. Nice. Man, I love some good depth of field. And I almost want to take this guy here, right? And then put him in the front here on the ground. Yeah. Take our area light. Adjust the beam shape a little bit. It's crazy how much you can like really be like, you know what? No, like I want this to be like our highlight here. And we can really adjust our spread if we want to. That's our highlight. And the more we turn down the background, the more that becomes our highlight, which is really cool. But then you start to lose detail too, so be careful. Like maybe don't do what I just did. Oh, and also you can, you know, give it some light. Like if you want it to be so here, like let me show you what we could do here. You could take these, right? You could take one right here. Watch this. Show you guys this. You could take one right here, give it like a nice blue hint. Take one over here, give it a nice orange kind of hint, if you will. Now you have something that looks kind of like that, right? You kind of have this like stylized look. And if you go top down here, you can like really start to get crazy with it. Now we got a 10 value of 10 over here. Just gotta be careful. Right? And then we come back over here. Give this guy a value of 20. Kind of adjust the spread on that guy. Now you have a really, 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 really stylized look. I'm curious now if we turned off the original area light. That's the original one, turned off. Now if we take our background, we turn it down to 0.2. Now you can really see the effects of that. But you got to be careful because here's a kind of like a warmer theme. Thank you. Here's like a warmer theme, and then here's like a colder theme. Like I kind of like the cold theme, right? Me personally, like I think it looks cool. But again, we're losing some of the definition in our stainless steel, right? Like right now, I feel like we can't really see our definition. And part of that is because of my depth of field that I'm using. But now if we like zoom in, let me see that. Yeah, you can kind of see, you can like very faintly see like the definition here, but this is pretty cool because I do enjoy making like cool products, like just cool shots that like look interesting, right? Another thing is like with this brick texture, like watch what happens when we take our brick texture and we increase the scale or we decrease the scale to like 30. Like it completely changes the scale of the scene. Like it almost sets the scale of our scene, if you will. I almost wonder, should this spread be even lower? Nah, it was perfect the way it was. Nice. That's it. That looks cool. And what's even cooler is you could obviously change the color of the stainless steel itself if you wanted to. Oh, you were in product photography? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm digging this. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Again, just like so many things you could do. I'm happy with that. That was a cool one. I enjoyed that. Guys, it is about time for me to be done.